Hey everyone, welcome to this 131st edition of ClariTea Chat. This is one of the special year-ending sessions, and today we have with us Mr. Ravi Kant, former Vice Chairman of Tata Motors, a transformational leader and a mentor to many CXOs of today, including myself. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the session. Cheers.
Good afternoon. Cheers.
So let me introduce Mr. Ravi Kant. He's a distinguished alumnus of Mayo College, Ajmer and IIT Kharagpur. In his nearly 50 years of experience, he has held senior executive roles at Tata Motors, Philips, LML, Titan Watches, Kinetic, and Hawkins Cookers. He advised Accenture India, and currently he serves on the board of Cone Limited and Hawkins Cookers. He also served as director of several companies, including Vedanta, Voltas, Tata Industries, and many more. He has been actively involved in corporate bodies as chairman of Audit Bureau of Circulations, ASI, SIAM, and was an executive member of CII. He's deeply interested in the education and health sectors, especially after retirement, sir. He was the chairman of IIM Rohtak and IIT Allahabad. He has served on the boards of NID Ahmedabad as well as Earth Institute, University of Columbia, and Business School at NUS Singapore. He was on advisory boards of IIT Mumbai, IIT Kharagpur, and CEIBS Shanghai. He has been on the board of Enactus, a non-profit US organization facilitating social entrepreneurship. He was associated with the Smile Train, a non-profit supporting cleft palate correction, as well as a New York-based non-profit supporting surgeries for blindness, burns, and clubfoot. He's the chairman of the advisory board of Akhand Jyoti, one of the largest eye organizations transforming eye care in the eastern part of India. And he has been associated with two startups working in the area of cancer detection and care. Well, he's credited with many turnarounds and transformations, notably turning around loss-making LML, leading Tata Motors' growth from $1.5 billion to almost $39 billion, and the turnaround of JLR. Well, a lesser known fact, Mr. Ravi Kant is an evangelist of scaling up with technology. My own journey in technology began with CRM, where he was the executive sponsor of the program. I was pulled out of customer service and added to the program. He led us from the back, provided visibility and resources, and acted as our minesweeper, enabling us to execute transformative changes in processes. Sir, I'm happy to inform you that the CRM program and the leadership direction you set for us has led to 10 plus of our team members taking up CIO or technology CXO roles in different organizations. Uh, Thank you, sir. His leadership style is summarized in this small clip that I found on YouTube. With due credits to its publisher, London Business School. Let me play this 20-second clip, sir.
And take people along with you and give responsibility to people.
So I'll just play it again.
My leadership style would be, you can say, is collaborative and take people along with you and give responsibility to people and freedom to act and take decisions. What is challenging is how do you combine that short term with the long term and not be guided only by short term.
Yeah. So I think this was way before the leading from the back was coined, sir.
This is more than a decade old.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I found it and I was like, this is exactly, you found the right words for this style. So, well, sir, I have practiced this. So have many of us who were your mentees. You never told us in a lecture, but we learned from your example on how you were operating and how you were leading, collaborating with the teams, and setting large visions. And I can vouch for it as we bring it to the audience of this forum. So everyone, I can see a lot of comments already flowing in. Thank you so much for making your presence felt. Our focus today will be on the following themes. So, the philosophy of Mr. Ravikant of leading from the back, the examples from turnarounds and transformations, and the role of technology in scaling up transformation. We'll end the round with a rapid fire questions. All of you are welcome to send in your questions and your curiosities about Mr. Kant as well. But sir, what we do is in this chat we have a kind of ice-breaking moment in the initially, sharing a interesting incident. So I would like to recall my first interaction with you, and I tell you the real reason I told you I was insisting on going for an area manager role. So Mr. Ravikant interviewed me for a role after my ESS training got over, and he wanted me to take up the role of transforming the profitability of dealer service workshops and be based in Mumbai. And I argued, of course, it was futile, but I argued with Mr. Ravikant for half an hour as to why I should be sent to the field as an area manager. So I want to tell you the real reason now. I was dead scared of coming to Mumbai. I was like, I mean, because what happened when I came for my GT interview to Mumbai, I got caught in the evening traffic between Fort and VT, and that really scared the hell out of me to coming to Mumbai. But I think rest is history. I mean, I came and that program was a success, and then we did more programs, and then I came to CRM, and yeah, thank you so much for that, sir, for insisting that I come to Mumbai. So, sir, I just want to quickly, before we start, learning from you, I want to quickly acknowledge our audience. The Clarity Chat is attended by CXOs, founders, and senior technology professionals. We all know that technology is necessary but not sufficient to drive performance. The key lies in how leaders manage and lead multi organizational teams and programs. And this final session of 2024 will spotlight this critical aspect of leadership on how we lead. It is not about technology, it's about the leadership. And thank you all for joining us for the last 130 episodes and encouraging us with your interactions and questions. I can see the names already coming in, but please do share your name and where you're joining from in the comment box of LinkedIn. We already have some big ones joining here, sir. We have uh, Amrinder Singh joining us from Bangalore. Hey, Amrinder, thanks for joining as always. We have Mr. Pradeep Motwani from Terra Blue. We have our old colleague Bipin Joshi. We have our hero Motocop CIO, Mr. Vijay Sethi. He was our first guest, and we have many more. Let me, in the interest of time, let me go ahead. Thank you everyone for joining and for sharing your presence with us. So, sir, as a big admirer of your philosophy, leading from the back, which I've practiced and seen its impact firsthand, I'm really curious what inspired you to write a book about it, and why do you think it is essential to embrace this new type of leadership today?
Yeah, I think it's a good beginning. Thank you, Jagdish, first for inviting me to your platform. It's a pleasure to be here. Uh, you said a little while ago that I did not tell you anything specific, but you observed, and through that you learned. The fact of the matter is, even I didn't know what I was doing. And till about 4 years ago, uh, when people have been asking me to write books on my experiences in various companies, because many things happen, and people said that you should write, and I was very reluctant to write anything uh, on what how things happened. And till 4 years ago, somebody said that well-known person that you have tested the limits wherever you have gone. You're not an incrementalist, and therefore it will be good for people to know how you did it. So to which I said, no, that's not my intention. I don't want to talk about that, because when you're saying this, you're all the time, actually most of the time, you're talking about yourself, because it's your perspective, your this thing, and therefore it's not a 360-degree view of things. And I thought it would be unfair. Till I said 4 years ago, somebody said, no, but you, I'm sure you would have learned something from this world or from your experience. So I said, yes. Then he said, it's your duty to share that. And that set me thinking. And I said, yes, I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. So that was one part, testing the limits. And another part was then I was struggling how to do the start. Till again about 3 years ago, I was at Patna airport coming from Masichak, that Akhand Jyoti Eye Hospital, and one of my fellow board members, he was standing by me, and I said, Sridhar, I've known him for 15, 20 years, and very sane and very kind of, I thought very highly of him. So I asked him, Sridhar, can you tell me or describe to me my way of working? And he thought for a while and he said, Ravi, you lead from the back. And that's the first time I heard about it, and kind of is somewhat stunned me that I didn't know what I was doing. And here is a guy from advertising world. So normally in advertising, you have the facts and then put the headline. And
Correct.
what he did was he put the headline and then left it to me to discover what the facts are on which it was based. And I think it was very interesting. It made me think a lot, and it made me go back to my decades of experience as to what is it I was doing. So when Jagdish you asked me what I was doing, I didn't know then at that point in time. But today I know because I've thought about it, I've gone back to it, and I've said. And then I tried to condense it in very simple form. So it is not, I didn't want it to be a management jargon or to impress anyone, but it is to share. And sharing, the simpler the thing is, the easier it is for you to come across. And that's why it is a simple thing. And then he organized, there's a first friend of mine, he organized a town hall meeting in Bombay. Nearly 120, 130 persons came, like CXOs and CFOs and all these people. And the topic was leading from the back to test the limits. And I must say that it went extremely well. And soon after that, COVID was declared, and I used to be a visiting thought leader at China Europe International Business School at Shanghai. So they said you can't come now because of COVID. So can you take a session on online? So I said okay. So on same theme, I took the session, and it was that time it was kind of seen by almost 750, 800 people worldwide. And again, we got good response. That gave me encouragement and thinking that I'm on the right line because I wasn't sure whether I'm on the right line. It will be accepted by people. So that's how I went further. And then I went to a friend of mine who has been insisting me to write a book. I said, now I think I have something. So he said, send me all the videos and everything. So I sent him videos. Then he comes back after a week. He says, you know what? It can be converted into a parable. So I was very surprised. I said, I'm writing a book. And he's saying it's a parable. So, but I thought about it with an open mind. And I said, my God, it's a brilliant idea because it's a difficult topic. I'm trying to get across to mid-level managers. And therefore, a parable will be a story form. Parable is a fable, a story. So in that form, it will be easier to reach across to people. And that's how, but I told him that I don't know how to write a parable. Said, don't worry, I know two persons in the US who are well known for that. And if would you allow me to send all the material to them? So I said, okay, go ahead. So he sent, and both these two persons were extremely excited to collaborate. And that's how, in fact, Harry Paul, one of the authors, his parable on leadership called Fish, 25 years ago, has been a seller. It sold more than 6 million copies. It's a fantastic book. And another one is a professor at Arizona State University. So during COVID, without physically meeting with each other, this book was written in kind of on email and Zoom calls, and that's how it happened. And the book, I think, came out nicely. They have contributed writing. They have done wonderful job. I have, of course, also added and subtracted and things like that. The framework is mine and experience is mine, but they have put the flesh to it, if I can say that. And it's worked very well. And then, of course, this thing, uh, Penguin came forward to publish it. There also, it was a thing, a lot of debate as to whether it should be normal hardcover followed by paperback and all that. Finally, Penguin convinced us that you want to reach mid-level manager, it needs to be only one book. We had great difficulty convincing my co-authors in the US because they are not used to it. But we finally prevailed upon them and convinced them that let's go for one paperback. So it's a paperback, a story. Then it was a question of, okay, if it's a story, why don't we write some illustrations, put some illustration. Then Penguin came and said, we can't afford that, things like that. So I tapped into my resources and my contacts, and then found a few people, and then selected on one, and then that's how we put some illustrations and things like that to make it better. So every stage, you have to work out and I think somewhat differently. Then the book came, and I said, it doesn't feel nice holding the cover. So I then again persuaded Penguin to have a bent cover. There's an inside cover also if you see the book. So then when you hold the book, then it looks somewhat meaty, if I may say so. So that's how it happened. So it was a good experience. That's all I can say, and I'm glad that I was finally persuaded to do that, because now more and more I think about it, more and more I feel that why it is more important. So I'll just take 3-4 minutes more, if you permit me, on
Yes,
this,
yes, please.
uh, because the book was another thing, but the book is not about the book; it's about the philosophy. Why leading from the back is, leadership has been there for a long time. Long time means in corporate world it's only 250 years old, because corporates came into being after industrial revolution,
That's right.
and therefore this happened. And what was available at that point in time? That point in time, two forms were available. One was this thing, military leadership. Other was Catholic Church, because it happened in the UK and Europe. So these were the two things available, and for obvious reasons, they chose the military one, and they went for this hierarchical structure, one guy at the top, and know all kind of person, and that worked very well. And as you know, military, if you go back 2,500 years ago, because leadership is two things we must understand. Number one is a critical component, and number two is it is contextual. Critical component, because leadership, it tests the kind of the culture of the thing, the behavior of the corporation, everything. So it is critical, and it is contextual. If context changes, the leadership must change, and we all see that it happened. But the context I'm talking about is not 5 years, 7 years. Context I'm talking about next 100 years. And why 100 years? Because the first one was leading from the front, because that is how the thing was. But over a period of time, it has got a lot of ills, because things have now become focused only on money for individual, money for corporation, and men have been turned into machines. So a lot of ills have got into this kind of thing, philosophy. That is one part. Another part is externally things have changed a lot. Now today there's too much of uncertainty and unpredictability. So hierarchical organization, rigid hierarchical organization cannot work, and therefore you need a flexible organization, more anticipatory, more reactive kind of organization. Number two is the tsunami of information, especially after artificial intelligence. So you cannot have a know-all one kind of guy at the top. No way. And therefore you need to have distributed leadership. So it is important to have distributed leadership. And third, in my view, perhaps the most important one is the kind of guy who characterizes leading from the back is arrogant. I know everything, my way or highway type of, which all of us have come in contact with in our careers. Somehow we lived with that. But if you ask today's generation of millennials, Gen Z, I will tell you, not one person will be ready to work under that leadership unless that person is forced to. So what I'm saying is today the time has changed, the context has changed, and therefore leading from the front type of leadership is broken. And it needs to yield place to another kind of leadership which is more distributed, more flexible, more this kind of thing. That's the whole idea behind it. And therefore this is something which should be promoted. This is something, although I practice it without knowing it, but I feel that it is actually so good that it is actually for future. This is the more relevant type of leadership style than what we have been used to of leading from the front, of authoritative, know all type of leader.
No, absolutely, absolutely, sir. So just to summarize for people who might have joined a little late, so I think it was a lot of people were after Mr. Kant to write a book, but then somebody appealed to his call of duty, to share his learnings, which led to leading the book, to writing the book. It started with testing the limits, but that was not sufficient. And his friend gave him the idea that he leads from the back, and that led to reverse engineering the concept, and then running a couple of sessions, and then the kind of the concept took shape. And the best thing was it was reverse engineered from whatever he had been doing. I think, sir, very, very important. I mean, what you said, that leadership is a critical component and it is contextual, and the context has kept on changing. And now what we look at, the new generation, they don't like that leading from the front type of leadership. And of course, leading from the front has also accumulated, quite a few ills. And in this new era of connected world, we require distributed leadership. We require reactive and flexible organization, and that can only happen, and one person cannot do it. So this needs to be done at all levels. Well, as I will not be tired of saying this. It was a real, I would say, delight to be working with you, sir, because what you told just now. You practiced it, and then we learned it. We felt very empowered, and we could like take decisions knowing that sir will have our back. And the kind of things we ended up doing, in terms of like shaking the system. I think that was like the real example of distributed leadership, that we could all act at different levels. So, sir, by the way, when I was reading the book, and because it is about a technology manager, I felt like the protagonist Shiv. It took me straight back to my days of passionately driving the CRM program. And of course, my mentoring came from, we were always looking up to you as to like, you won't believe, sir, how many people were like very closely watching you, studying you, and many a times we were thinking that, okay, in this situation, how would Mr. Ravi Kant be handling this situation, thinking about it, strategizing it, who are the guys to be kind of contacted, etc., etc. Sir, I would love to hear the concepts, and I would like our audience to hear the concepts of leading from the back. And I really love the whole thing about 3 by 3. It's a 3 by 3 kind of model. But I will leave it to you to describe it to everyone, sir.
Yeah. Well, it's a simple thing. It's about three things. Number one is how should I be? Because everything starts from yourself first.
Correct.
Number two is how should I deal with the team? Because without team, nothing can happen. Number three is how should I deal with the tasks? Because at the end of the day, the team and you are only for perform a task. So these are the three things which we should keep in mind. And each of them have got three aspects. Again, very simple to know, but difficult to follow. In how should I be? Have an open mind. It's easier said than done. Everybody thinks he is an open mind or she has an open mind, but the reality is 99% opposite. And more successful you are, more close-minded you become, because you begin to feel, no, I know everything, as you know. So most successful people, you'll find that become close-minded. So that is one, but you need to be open-minded, because if you're not open-minded, then you don't know what the hell is happening outside. You cannot absorb, you cannot take. So you must build the ability to read and write and listen. Listening is the most important thing. Asking questions and things like that. So have an open mind. Number two is take ownership. Whether you are financial owner or not is immaterial. But when you have taken a job, when you have taken a position, you assume as if you are the owner of that. Because if you begin to think that way, that it's mine and I'm going to make it happen, then it brings a different perspective to the whole job. You're not, you're not doing a chore. You're not kind of performing a task, but you are doing something to satisfy yourself, to help you build yourself. That's what you are trying to do, and therefore take ownership is very important. Whether it is a small thing or big thing, that does not matter. But assume you are the owner. Number three is be detached. While you're owner, don't start begin to think, no, no, it's mine. That means मैं उसके साथ चिपका रहूंगा, and therefore it belongs to me. No, it doesn't belong to you. I am doing it uh, as if it is mine, but it doesn't belong to me, and therefore I take a somewhat distance look at that. Because if you don't do that, you won't get you'll not do rational decision making. You will be kind of emotionally so attached to it, and it becomes difficult. When things go up, it's fine. When things go down, you are devastated. So by distancing yourself, you are taking a more rational view of things, because it's not about the money that you're going to be making, it's not about your next promotion, but it is about that what richness you are going to have in making things happen. So three things, repeat again: have an open mind, take ownership, and be detached. That's for myself. Number two is coming to the team. Again, three things: build trust, collaborate, and third is uh, leverage strengths. You trust, everybody can understand, but it's very difficult to develop. Very difficult to. Collaboration, you will understand. In today's time, nothing can happen without collaboration. And leverage strengths. Normally, we tend to look at people's weaknesses. We tend to look at weaknesses in our products. We tend to look at what is wrong in the organization. We tend to look at what is wrong in the society, what is wrong, everything wrong, we are tend to look at it. My view is the opposite. My view is that, yes, things are bad. No question of that. Be aware of them and do something about it. But focus on strengths, because each person, each situation, each organization, each product has strengths. And once you have understood these strengths, then try to leverage those strengths. And then you will find, if you do it in a collaborative manner and in an environment of trust, I tell you, then sky's the limit. That's all I can say. Third one is on task. After you have created a powerful team, then you go for a task. Task means don't extend past into future, because then you will not go further, because you are always stuck with the past, and it's very difficult to detach yourself from that. So look at the future, look at the opportunities, and in opportunities, then you will find a different kind of situation, a different kind of goals, different. So once you fix on that, then work backwards. When you are working backwards, you'll find that you cannot accomplish it, and therefore that forces you to go out, think out of box. It forces all of the team to think out of box. It then makes you innovative. Then you come with different solutions, because you don't want to leave the task, and yet you can't manage it, and therefore it forces you to. There's a lot of tension, a lot of pressure in that. And third part in that is be tough softly, because as far as the goal is concerned, that cannot be sacrificed. But as far as people are concerned, treat them as a human. This thing, don't treat them as machines. Don't treat them as pieces of in the chessboard. They are people. They are human beings like you and I and everybody else. They have also families. They also have problems. I think be considerate of. That's all. So that's it. I have to say as far as the book is concerned. It is As I said, it is a parable. So it is a story of a mid-level manager, Shiv, who is very successful by leading from the front type of thing. And then he finds that the things get more complex, more complicated. It's not working. And he's getting very frustrated. So he works for a good company. So that company sends him to coaches and all that. And through that, the story unfolds.
No, no, absolutely. I think it's a story of it's a very very readable story, sir. I couldn't put the book down. I read it in in
Mm-hmm.
just 2 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, it's like I mean, if I have to state it in different words, like so, first is the self awareness, right? How should I be? The second is like building a team, build trust, collaboration, and then leverage each other's strengths. And then basically with these two firmly in control, then you go after the goals, but then don't look at incrementally, set look outside in, beat off softly, uh, and test the limits. I think these are the three things that comes in how do I deal with the task. So, sir, but I think this also has like a good glimpse into where most people get stuck. I think in the book there's a case study about Harvard students, Harvard graduates, and I think majority of them get stuck in the middle management, and I think that's the most difficult transition, and I think that's something that the book really kind of helps unlock. So, sir, just like a personal one, uh, from your experience, what was your moment when you kind of like when you made that transition, and at the same time, like who are your mentors?
No, that's a difficult question because it's through experience. As I said, I did not know I was leading to the back. It was coming naturally. Something was happening, and it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
an evolutionary process. So where you are born, what family you are in, what school you go to, who was your principal, you are seeing and observing and absorbing. So seeing, observing, and absorbing things, and that's how you begin to make your character, make your value systems, make your this thing, and then you work on that, and that's how it happens. So there are many mentors, and in fact, I picked 7 of them. They are so for that you have to buy the book and read in the book the mentors, and I've given what I learned from each one of them. So that is, I think, that is important. I can tell you about what I learned from Mr. Tata. What I learned from Mr. Tata was to think big. I don't think I could have ever thought that big had I not worked under Mr. Tata. No question. Because after all, I was in companies which were turnover was 800, 900, 1500 crores and things like that. And Tata Motors gave a different scale. As you know, 1.6 billion you talked about when I joined, and it became 39 billion dollars, which is very big by any international world standards. 39 billion is 39 billion dollars. So we could have never reached there. No way. But Mr. Tata always showed you how to think big, encouraged you how to think big. So that was one part. Second part was he gave you freedom to execute it. And number three, he supported you in case something went wrong. So as you were talking about me, I was somebody else was doing to me. And had he not seen that kind of guiding hand, that seeing, okay, in case something goes wrong, I'll be thrown out. I was prepared for that also, but and you should be prepared for that also. But that if not intentionally, then there is somebody to take. He'll take care of you. So that gives you a tremendous guidance, tremendous freedom, and tremendous security to what I call is psychological safety. It is a very important. You get
very.
psychological safety, and that then helps you to do something. And then once you do something big, then it gives you confidence कि अच्छा अभी मैंने इतना कर दिया तो ना ऊपर छलांग लगाओ और क्या हो सकता और क्या हो सकता. So you
Absolutely.
talked about turnaround in LML Vespa and Tata Motors. To be honest, this had already been done at LML Vespa. That's turnaround in a big way, where I was concerned. So when I came to Tata Motors, yes, it was a mammoth job, but the principles were all same. So for me, in a way, it was a repeat in a larger scale, and that's what I did, and that's how confident. Because when you're doing it, we have to understand you are not reporting to anybody. You are reporting to your conscience, and you are
Absolutely.
taking the ownership. You are taking the responsibility. नहीं मुझे तो करना ही है. I don't care what happens. It becomes a junoon. So once you get the junoon, then nothing can stop you. I can tell you that. So I think the most important thing is whatever you are doing, get junoon into it. Once you get junoon, then nothing is stopping you. And that is very infectious. Because
Absolutely.
as you are describing yourself, Jagdish, is the my junoon which infected everybody else. It became
Absolutely.
everybody else's junoon. So it no more was my junoon. It became everybody else's junoon, and that's how the whole team started working together and seeing as if it is they own the whole thing.
No, absolutely. And so you talked about a very important thing, which is psychological safety. It is like such an important trait because, you know, when we were going about transforming a lot of things, and there was there's a laundry list of things we changed beyond technology, even in terms of processes, or even like creating some new roles. We always had that that comfort that if something goes wrong, boss will be there. I can go and confess to him, and then nothing will happen to me. I think that is something that really, that grounding and that trust is something that really make people do big things. So I am, we have 60 plus people in the sessions today, and I think this is a very big takeaway that do your teams feel that safety in your having their back or not, as you kind of push them to do new things, big things, and all of that. So sir, let's come to some stories of transformation. So let's start with the Tata Motors turnaround. So it made a huge loss in 2000, and within 2 years you turned it around. So and you were relatively new to the organization. So we knew, I mean, I had been there for some time, and I think there was the tough part of dealing with the building the team. We had lots of bright people, and I think the biggest challenge was to build that team. So to walk everyone through a little bit about that, about the Tata Motors turnaround.
Yeah, first let me correct your statement. It is not I who did it. I didn't do it. I mean, it is people who were in Tata Motors did it. So I think you have got to first acknowledge that. So I would now preface by saying that I have worked in 7 companies, each in a new industry. And whichever company I went to, whether it was Philips, which was before Tata Motors, or Tata Motors, I had no knowledge of those industries. I had no knowledge of what happened in those industries. But some people who were interviewing me thought, okay, I could do something in those companies. And so I got in. Now, when I got in, now everybody else in the company I am joining is more knowledgeable than me. Everybody is far more technical competent in that. No question of that. So you can understand that I'm entering the organization with huge handicap, conventional handicap. Okay,
Yeah,
this guy doesn't know. And because you enter, and therefore there's a lot of skepticism around in whether inside or outside. No, this is the wrong choice. Wrong. This thing is there, and therefore first few months and few this thing is a very big challenge. A lot of struggle. A lot of this thing is there. So what do? I go by myself. I did not go with the coterie of my people from my previous company, who are my trusted kind of inverted commas trusted lieutenants. I didn't go. I went alone. By going alone, I'm giving a signal that I trust you people. Had I gone with the coterie of my people, I'm giving a signal that I don't trust you. I've got my trusted people. Now that was very important. But so I do believe by trusting everybody. But you should not expect that the trust will be reciprocated back to you. People, because people are skeptical, they say, this fellow doesn't know anything about it. So why should I trust him? And so it is over a period of time that you have to build trust through your behavior, through your actions, through your being transparent, honest, kind of fair play, and all equitable treatment, and all that kind of thing over a period of time. Many people who are very critical positions and without whom you cannot succeed, and they don't report to you. Please understand that. They don't report to you, but they are very critical for your success. And you must understand that. And therefore, you go and try to make friends. First of all, they will brush you off, or they will say, no, no, what is this, all that. So I have spent hours and hours together trying to build relationships with such people, because I knew they are very critical to the success of the task I have, success to the organization. And through that, over a period of time, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years, that you bring people around, you begin to say that, okay, it is in the interest of everybody. And once people begin to feel that you don't have any personal agenda about it, then people slowly start coming to you, and I think things work out. I can tell you that nine and a half out of 10 cases it works out that way. I mean, there may still be few people, handful of people who will not trust you, but I think you already got 95%, so you carry on, and you don't have to stop.
No, no, absolutely, absolutely, sir. Yeah, I think, going beyond your hierarchical boundaries and then building relationships, developing that influence is again something we learned from you, especially, when people don't report to you. So what do you do that? So I mean, in our case in CRM, most of the people who we had to bring around did not report to us. Forget reporting to us; they were like our bosses in previous roles. So yeah, I think that, building relationships, creating an agenda which, like, they get excited about. I think that becomes very important. So, sir, let's talk of some more experiences, from your rich tenures. So, when Tata Motors acquired Daewoo in South Korea, and then we acquired JLR in UK, and I think you were leading both. So, these were two very different and very diverse acquisitions. And I think rare times that Indian companies going, and we did not really have a template. That how do you go acquire large global companies and all that. So just want to pick your brains on, was there a common theme that ran through both the acquisitions, and how did you pull them off, and they become very successful acquisitions?
Yeah, I think again it evolved. And to begin with, it was not a common thing. We didn't know what we were going to do. So in 2004, I remember when we were doing the Daewoo thing, uh, that is the point in time when we were doing the due diligence that the template became kind of started taking shape. Let me put it this way. And what happened was that, when we were one of the 10 bidders. I'll talk about Daewoo because exactly the same thing is applicable in Jaguar Land Rover. So we were one of the 10 bidders, and we were from India. So they don't speak, as you know, in Korea, they don't speak English. They speak only Korean, and they're very nationalistic. So one English-speaking mid-level manager was assigned to us. I was sitting in the ante-room of the president. I was standing in the ante-room of the president, and I talked to this guy, and I said, "Look, be absolutely honest. Tell me which of the 10 bidders you would like to go with." Because I felt as I'm trying to assess them, I must know how they are assessing us. Because at the end of the day, you are not buying a piece of machinery, you are buying a living organism. And these are the people who are going to be working and doing things for the organization. So you must know their minds. That was the whole idea. So I asked this person, and he said, he hesitated for some time, but later on he said, "Sir, we would like to go with the European company." So I asked him why. So he said, sir, we'll get technology and therefore our future will be secured. Absolutely fantastic answer from his perspective. But had we been close minded, first of all, we would not have asked the question. Number two, our egos would have been greatly hurt. Oh my God, this doesn't know I am Tata Motors. And this fellow is not even 1/10 my size. And this fellow is saying like this. So, but that 1 minute interaction changed our whole philosophy. And we did something quite unique, I must say that. And we said our template will be to be seen as a South Korean company in South Korea, not as an Indian company in South Korea. And that changed the whole philosophy. We were not to be doing things like a Western multinational does. You take over the company, you have a 100-day program, and if the other guy is red, I'm blue, then everybody will become blue in 100 days time. So he said, no, we are dealing with people, we are dealing with local circumstances, and therefore we will we will act as if we were Tatas in South Korea, and that's exactly what happened. And I think everything went off very well. And same thing happened in the UK also.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important because I remember one interaction that I had with the JLR folks and somebody in manufacturing, and he said that once, and that was actually very hurtful to them. So he said that Ford, when they came, and their supply chain guys took over, and then they wanted, because of their whole standardization process and supply chain efficiencies, they wanted to fit Ford Focus handles on the doors of JLR vehicles, and that was like not done with them. And I think we did not do anything like that. We did not do anything like that. We let them, do their own thing, and
No, 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 not we we let them do their own thing, but within boundaries.
of
Boundaries in
course,
the sense, because okay, you need to do business, you need to have so much growth, you need to make money. You cannot do away with that, and you need to be focused on the customer. So all these things are very important, and I mean it will take a long time, but I think there was a lot of antagonism. How can a company who's no experience in luxury cars or from third world country can come and take this? As you know, their president of their U.S. Dealer Association, he made a comment. How can a tandoori chicken company can come and take over Jaguar Land Rover? But I can tell you, after we took over, that fellow became our best friend. So we converted everybody into that. And what made the conversion? The conversion, not we were bringing technical skills, but we brought something. We brought humanity. We brought humanness. We set standards for how to deal with things, how to have behavior with everybody and all that. It didn't mean that we were soft. We were very very tough. You talk to anybody in Jaguar Land Rover or even in Daewoo about me. I mean, people I think may have been happier when I left those organizations because we were
uh,
very tough.
yeah. No, I mean that's your philosophy, is a beat off softly. Don't
Yeah,
lower the standards, but be
yeah,
soft on people,
absolutely,
but be tough on
absolutely.
the performance. Yeah. So, sir, yeah, I mean, how 48 minutes went by, I'm like still surprised. Sir, a couple of other questions before I let me see if our audience have any rapid fire questions. Guys, I mean, I know the amount of comments that have come, and it will be very difficult for me to sift through all of them. But I will definitely pick up some questions, provided we get some time. Just a couple of questions, sir. Your very few people know about your role in promoting technology within the company, and can you share why the CRM was a focus for you, and the importance of building a customer centric approach in a very systematic manner?
I came from a marketing background. Although I'm originally an engineer, but customer focus thing was what I learned, imbibed, and all that. And therefore, when Tata Motors was there, Tata Motors was in a seller's market.
Yeah,
And by the time it came, the whole thing had turned by 180 degrees. And because the customer then became very important. So I said, okay, let us understand about the customers. Let's understand what they do, what they want, and things like that. And therefore, focus on customer became very important, very this thing. And I felt it will be difficult for we if you go about in the standardized manner. And therefore, we need to bring technology, we need to bring digitalization to be able to do it in a more kind of manner, which an engineering-led organization like Tata Motors would accept, not the other way. So we started saying, okay, let's do that, and that's why, if you remember, we went around taking quotations and doing due diligence for so many companies, and finally we selected on you people selected on Siebel, because we had a whole chart as to what are the factors that you people decided on. These are the factors, and this is the importance of these factors. But once you have done that, then you don't have an option. Then you cannot be then you have to put put those things in, and then whatever comes out, then we have to see what it is. And finally, a smaller company came into this thing, which was even bigger companies were there. But finally, I think everybody was quite surprised why it was, and that company came out very nicely. I think Siebel, which gave
that's right.
360 degree 360-degree view of the customer and so many things. And it was so good that finally Oracle bought it. Oracle bought Siebel.
That's right.
Yes, within a year's time. So we became part of Oracle, and that's how things were there. And of
Yeah,
course, there were other organizations like TCS and all, which were helping us implement it.
absolutely, absolutely. No, sir. So actually, because nobody had done that kind of project before, it took us a long time to kind of just work out things and create that template which will be applicable dealer after dealer. And that's when we used to really admire that the kind of patience and the kind of support we had from you and everyone else who were like very patient with us, that 2 years down the line nothing is coming out, and but the team is like really trying hard. That was really awesome. But of course, once the template fell into place, it just exploded from there.
I think I just recall one thing. Uh, you are aware of reverse auction in Tata Motors?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Reverse auction, first time a big company like Tata Motors introduced in India. It was totally unknown thing. What is
That's right.
reverse auction? And we did it, and we did it so wonderfully well, I can't tell you. So the organization which was doing, I forget, market, something was named.
Free markets.
Free market,
Free
free
market. Free
market.
market.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And we got huge amounts of cost reduction and all that kind of thing too. And do it genuinely, not with some kind of agenda and things like that. And then, of course, that was also technology. And
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
introduced that. And of course, there were many stories, many magazines had covered this, how we were doing this reverse auction by free markets. And then free markets also got sold to somebody. I forget who.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I think it was bought by Ariba, which was bought by SAP later. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So, sir, there's one question that I definitely want to ask you, and it is like very, very pertinent from a technology management point of view. There has been research which I shared with you, that 70 to 80% of the IT programs fail. And I think one of the reasons that, which is there in our initial video also, is that they're just, it's a very multi-organizational, I would say, approach to any kind of IT transformation initiatives. So, especially in technology, multiple organizations come together, each with their own agendas of profitability, etc., etc. So, what would be your advice to CIOs and IT leaders on applying the concepts of leading from the back, and deliver success across multi-organizational teams?
I think, in my view, it is collaboration. And seeing that not only from your perspective, but you got to see it from other people's perspective also, and then arrive at a kind of a solution. Because if you keep showing only from your perspective, another five guys also seeing from their perspective, then it's difficult to
Yeah.
have something workable, something to deliver something. So let me give example of Nano. Now, Nano, Mr. Tata had announced it will be a 1 lakh car and all that kind of thing, but how to make it? Because he had announced it 7 years prior to when it came. So by that time, the cost had gone up. The concept of that car, which was meant to be, had itself gone become different. So it would have been a very expensive, at least 3 times, 4 times the cost. So we had a white sheet of paper exercise, and we said, okay, this if it's going to be 1 lakh, what will be bill of materials? So which material will be this? How much is this? How much is that? And then we said, okay, let's go back and do some innovation, do something. And first of all, people said it's impossible. Even the well-known multinational auto component suppliers said it's impossible. But I think we finally got to it, and we all came together and we made it happen. I don't want to go into each detail, but whether it was logistics, whether it was buying steel from Japan, whether it is Bosches of the world and inside people, ERC people, I think everybody got into that passion that we have to do it, because not doing was not an option. Not doing was not an option. In fact, couple of times I remember that we got stuck and the cost was coming out very highly and we nearly abandoned the project. But we came back again on the table, and it was all done by people together. Nobody can say he was the one who did it. It was it's a fantastic this thing of how collective working can kind
No,
of
absolutely.
really make impossible possible.
No, absolutely, absolutely, sir. So I want to share a very small incident regarding the Nano program with you. So what had happened was the announcement was already made, and there were like some 2-3 years to go to the market, and talk about taking ownership. So um, we basically started brainstorming that, okay, so how would CRM need to be stretched when Nano is launched, and the kind of volumes that we are looking at, the kind of business models we are looking at, etc. How where the organization will have to stretch, and then we started preparing CPL and our associated systems accordingly. And what happened was, I think in the year that it was supposed to be launched, we were approached by the team saying that, hey, what are the budgets you require for CRM? And we said, no, we are ready. So that was a small incident I thought I'll share with you. So, sir, I think amazing session so far, and my apologies, everyone, that we don't have sufficient time for taking questions. But let me still see if I can take one or two. Um, Let me bring in a few more people. So, Dimitrov Krishnan, he is the MD of Volvo Construction Equipments, and my senior batch GT, sir. So he had joined. Thanks, DK, for joining. Um, just looking at, yeah, there's another one, Shiv Kumar Goyer. He says, your legacy as a leader who masterfully blends technical expertise with strategic foresight stands as a beacon of inspiration for
यार
professionals
सवाल
across.
पूछो, सवाल पूछो.
Yeah, as I'm just scrolling and trying to find questions, but I'm finding a lot more appreciation than questions. Uh, yeah,
So why
so
don't
so
you
this
do one
is,
thing? Why don't you publish and share it with all of us, and then
I'll do that. I'll do that. Sir, there's a question from DK. Multi-generational workforce. Do you feel that leading from the back is even more relevant than before?
absolutely, absolutely. Because you give, in fact, in today's time, if you don't give space, if you don't give freedom, if you don't give this thing to millennials, Gen Z, you won't get things done. And what technology is doing, actually, you older people are at a disadvantage as far as technology is concerned. But younger people like take fish to water, but older people have to train themselves, retrain themselves to use that technology, as you all know, and we feel
Absolutely,
very
yeah.
handicapped. So if something goes wrong in my iPad or iPhone, who do I go to? I go to my granddaughter. In fact, she was here half an hour ago or 1 hour ago trying to sort out something for me. So I'm saying that they have the knowledge, they have the tools, and they are very good at that. And therefore, if we don't involve them, I think we are doing great disservice to ourselves and to the organization. So this is the time when technology is becoming a leveler, but being a leveler, it is actually giving more advantage to them than to us. Because what was the earlier model? Earlier model was if you have more experience, means if you have worked more, you have more experience and therefore you know more and therefore you can teach people. But today is not the case. It's the
Yeah,
reverse.
I agree.
In
Yeah.
most things, especially related to technology, younger people are far more competent, far more this thing than the older people. And I think we must recognize this. So, a kind of a nice combination, but they don't know how to deal with people. And so, if older people can teach them how to deal with people and they can teach the older people how to deal with technology, I think that will be the fantastic amalgam of things to going forward.
Oh, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I think I know that brings me to this whole concept of reverse mentoring, that we mentor people on how to manage environment and people, and then they mentor us on how to look at technology and how to be like tech savvy and improve our own productivity. So thank you so much. I'll just we'll take a quick minute or two of summarizing the session, and then we will call it a day and wish everyone a happy new year after that. So we started with an introduction to Mr. Kant. He took us through the journey of how the book came about, primarily appealing to somebody appealing to him that he must share his learnings with everybody. And then he took us through the background of how the leadership, the traditional leadership of leading from the front evolved from the military kind of style, and in today's world, which is where there's plenty of information and there's far more complexity, why we require distributed leadership, uh, distributed leadership and that responsiveness and agility to the changing world. And that's where leading from the back becomes very, very relevant. In terms of the idea of leading from the back itself is how should I be, which is self awareness. How should I deal with the team, which is how to build a team, a very well knit and collaborative team. And how should I deal with the task, which is not be incremental, but be transformative in setting goals, look at things outside and beat off softly. Um, uh, he shared his personal experience with Mr. Tata, that he allowed you to think big, and he gave you the freedom, and he always had your back. And I think that is something we have all experienced, that as managers in Tata's, that we could do a lot of things without really worrying about consequences, as long as the honest intentions were honest. We discuss about the story of transformation and turnaround of Tata Motors, where he very nicely explained, how he was the new guy and he had to build the trust, and it really takes effort and time to build relationships and trust, and be an insider. And once you have done that, the rest of the things accelerate. We talked about two diverse acquisitions of Tata Motors, Daewoo and JLR, and how that template evolved, where it was not an Indian company acquiring a company in South Korea or UK. It was actually we became a South Korean company in South Korea, and a British company in Britain. But at the same time, he did mention that never lowered the performance standards, was tough with in terms of the demands of performance. We talked about technology. I think his advice was he took the example of Nano, and how it was the entire ecosystem, including Tata Motors and suppliers, which had to come together. So I think that's all we have, sir, for today. We missed out the rapid fires, but that's maybe for another day. Sir, any last word from you before we close the session?
Well, my only advice will be to have an open mind. Don't close your minds, because so many changes are taking place, and you should not miss on that. Look for trends. Look for trends, and build great teams. Great teams do great things. I think that is a key thing. And you don't have to be, because nobody can be best at in today's time. So therefore you need to have uh, collect best people and go with the same mission, same this thing. Don't run after money, don't run after the position, don't run after this. I mean, I'm not saying they are not important. They're important. They're very important. But they should not be priority number one. That's all I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, absolutely, sir. So thank you for those parting words. And I mean, looking at the number of comments we've had and looking at the
Yeah.
audience we've had, I think uh, uh, great session. Thank you everyone in the audience for attending and engaging and sending loads of comments which we could not pick up, of course.
Which I have,
But
Jagdish,
yes, sir.
with your permission, I will have one thing.
Yes, sir.
And that thing is, now that I've shared with so many of you there, what I'm looking for is how to scale it up, how to
Yes,
take
sir.
it to far and wide, how to multiply this whole thing. And I would love to get suggestions from the audience here. If they can send it to you and you can share with me, is how to scale it up in a big way. And that's what one is struggling at the moment is uh, is how to make it happen, how to make it a reality in actual words, because it's not something that people don't know about. People know about it. People have also been practicing it, but leading from the front type of guy, because he's there up all the time, you know about that person. But leading from the back kind of guy doesn't want to be kind of on the magazine covers and social media and all that. You don't know about that person. So I'm saying,
Absolutely.
how do we therefore bring it to people's, and that this is a at least an equally good option, and you must try it and therefore see, experiment it, and if it works. So my last word would be on this. So can people who think that this is a good idea spread it and see how it can be scaled up in various forms and manners? I'll be grateful for that. Thank you,
No,
and wish
absolutely, absolutely.
everybody happy New Year. Happy New Year.
No, absolutely, sir. So, guys, please do send in your suggestions, and we'll collate them, and we'll discuss. We'll have a follow up discussion with Mr. Ravi
Yeah.
Kant on how on the various ideas to scale up this entire
Yeah,
initiative.
yeah, yeah. And I don't mind, as a subset of this, Jagdish, if the suggestions come, to have a special session only with those people who have given suggestions, and have an interactive this thing comment, interactive session with them, and come to some conclusions.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. We'll
Thank you.
follow up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you everyone for attending, engaging, and thank you everyone who's watching the recording as well. Yeah, it's weekend and it's year end, so please enjoy your family time. And thank you once again, Mr. Ravikant, for joining me on ClariTea Chat today.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
everyone. Thank you, sir.